And I have a very special guest, Owen Farmer. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's good to be back here at IPL Radio.
We've had a few conversations. We've bumped into each other at many different locations. Too many to mention, possibly, but definitely Rockingham Shopping Centre and definitely Salvation Army. I know we've gone there and bumped into each other and shook each other's hand. I have a lot of admiration for you, Owen. The things that you've posted, the things that you've done in your lifetime. You mentioned that you're actually born in Narrogin. That's correct. Okay, we just haven't tried it. Okay, we're just over mic'd here. Some work, some don't. You're born in Narrogin. That's correct.
That's correct, Paul.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about, your childhood, a little bit about your past? I know we touched on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, it's been quite an interesting journey for me, right from birth. I was I suppose, like all babies, we were all born normal.
Yes.
And I was born in the old Valima Hospital in Narrogin back in 1954.
Okay.
And that was the only hospital in that town at that time.
Okay.
That had all the Wickepern and Corrigan and all that used to come in there and all that period of time. But when I was born from there, I was taken back down to Dad's farm at Denmark. We had a small dairy farm at Denmark there. And
beautiful place, isn't it?
Oh, it was a absolutely fantastic place. And so I went to school there, grew up. In about 8 years of age, I was taken out of school in Denmark.
Yes.
And then something happened to my mind. I was about 8 years of age, and it all went blank when we left the farm and left that school. I remember going across the river.
Okay.
And it scared me to the devil out of me, because of the river. Such a high place, and I was very scared of heights as a young boy.
Okay. Interesting. I guess we all have our childhood memories and things we actually went through, including myself. I did grow up in Hillman, so that is actually part of the Rockingham electorate. Did you want to talk about what you've been doing recently?
Yes, it's been very interesting once again. I never ever thought that I'd ever have the privilege again to serve another human being in my community by doing everything that I generally do. And I tried to retire, but they pulled me back again. I achieved went backwards and forwards like yo-yo, Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
But it's been a really good, interesting last couple of weeks in regards of the by-elections that's coming on here in Rockingham. I know everybody wants to have pole position. Everybody,
absolutely.
Yeah, they all want to do this and do that. So I'm putting my little bit of time back to a lady that really helped me about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was in a bit of a bad...
How did you come across each other? What was the situation?
We were at an Anzac service one morning.
Okay.
Back about 4 years ago. And I always lay a wreath for the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders and the homeless veterans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'd heard this wonderful laugh. And just reminded me of my mother. And my mother had an enormous laugh with that she could drag people in just by her laugh.
Yeah.
And I turned around and here's this young lady. I didn't know her for a bar or so.
Yeah.
And she was laying a wreath as well. So I thought, well, I'm a little bit cheeky sometimes.
Yeah.
So I went up there and introduced myself to her. And she told me about what she had done. 8 years in the Air Force. A medic in Bali at the Bali bombing.
Yeah, she got a commendation
for that. She got a commendation for that. And that intrigued me because all my brothers were in the forces and I was the only one that never made it.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And so from that time I spoke to Hayley in numerous times and met her at Anzac and stuff like that. So we formed that sort of...
Got to know each other a little bit better. And,
it's a platonic relationship.
Yes.
Which you can have there with somebody and, that doesn't go any further than that lamppost.
Absolutely. My time with her, it's been very brief, but what I find is,
Yeah, she seems very honourable. She seems very genuine. There's qualities about her that I do like in her, and I do sincerely believe that everything she says is the truth.
Yeah, she's straight to the point.
Yes.
She's very genuine.
Yes.
And that's what I've found, and she can keep things to herself. And that's what I've found about her, very, very much so, that you can have a conversation with her and it stays within.
Yes.
And that's another bond that we came to come along with, because we can keep things to ourselves when things do go wrong.
I think she understands the importance of friendship. I think she understands the importance of keeping things. It's nobody else, no offense, it's nobody else's business. The conversations between you and her is private conversations. And she's basically, my understanding is she is creating that strong friendship. She's not out there gossiping. She's not. She doesn't strike me as a gossiper.
No.
But every time I see her, she does. She doesn't laugh, but she definitely has a bit of a smile and says hello to me and everything like that. So she did that yesterday, and I just, there's so many good qualities about her.
Yes.
There is other candidates as well to do with the by-election, and they're also admirable as well. I was actually there at the debate, and they all had good things to say. And they're all very, very positive people. I actually sense that about them. So whoever the public choose, I believe they can trust those people. They seem very genuine, and they seem very passionate about their causes. And also the fact is that they love Rockingham.
Well, they've all got leadership qualities.
Yes, definitely.
And this is what it's all about. It's a young election. It's all the people that are young. I think Hayley's the oldest one out of all of them, but with the most experience. This is what I look at. Everybody in general's got a beautiful stand.
Yeah, they got something to offer.
Yeah, they got qualities. And I put myself behind Hayley because, when it comes down to loyalty, some things can be said today and tomorrow it's finished.
Yes.
You've got to keep up with that momentum all the way through to be genuine within the public area and within the people that you're talking to, because you can't weed it out and say, I'm going to give you a can of baked beans today, but tomorrow I'm going to give you only half.
Yeah. Yeah, I just found some of the things she was talking about at the debate was actually quite relevant to Rockingham. She has mentioned about a marina, and because of the situation as far as being a safe seat, Rockingham has been a safe Labor seat. I'm not bashing them, but it's been a safe Labor seat since 1974. But the things that she talked about, mentioning about the increase in population, ACUS families, so Americans and British families are going to be coming here, which leads me to my next question as far as where are all those people going to be housed. And that's something that she actually she singled out. She pointed that out, and she mentioned she had her facts and figures right there, future facts and figures, basically saying the population is going to increase, and where are those people going to be housed? That's the question. So where are they?
I can't answer that question myself because we cannot house our people at the moment.
That's true. The other thing that she mentioned is there is no crisis care.
There's no crisis care, which is very, very vital here.
Absolutely.
We have multiple people that are doing it tough.
Yes, and you've been interacting with those kind of people, and I've seen your posts and just through conversations with you and everything like that. You have mentioned many people that you've come across that are doing it tough, and they're hiding themselves away at different locations and things like that. And they're not crying out, they're not crying and everything like that, but they're definitely doing it tough. It's because they've got no place to go.
There's no respite for homelessness. There's no place that they could call home.
Yeah.
and which makes it very, very awkward for the genuine people that are just walking out of the houses now because the rental crisis or something goes wrong, and there's children there that are feeling the pain as well. And the most hardest thing for me is that I've spoken to 2 young people in this family that I know.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for those 2 young ones was to say that, Mr. Farmer, we can't bring our friends home. And I'm going, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? I said, Mr. Farmer, we can't bring them because we're sleeping in our car. Our friends, we don't want to bring our friends home because we've got no place for them to sleep.
Yes.
So that was the hardest thing for these young children,
Mm-hmm.
the young teenagers that are still going to school and out of school, that they cannot bring their friends home. Well, I had the big lump in my throat, and I'm going, well, that is so correct, because everybody has sleepovers and they have their friends and
Absolutely.
and these things. And this is what's not actually happening while they're out there sleeping rough.
Mm-hmm.
So that this year, that brought to my soft side and going, wow, we need a speedy recovery. And I've been speaking about, it was so easy when we had COVID,
mm-hmm.
they popped up tents everywhere, just like that, bingo. Big white tents everywhere where people come in one door and out the other. And I'm thinking to myself this last week or so, what have they done with all those tents? Why can't they
utilise
those instead of leaving them in mothballs,
mm-hmm.
and let the people come and erect it all up,
Yes.
pick out their corner, then at the end of the early morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, they can pull it all down and pack it all away.
Absolutely.
How easy would that be?
They've already spent that money on those particular items, on those tents, so why not utilise them?
Why not utilise them? And they can be utilising them to a great benefit.
I'm sure they'll feel a little bit safer, and they're in a group of people, and maybe not everyone will get along, but at least there is some form of protection for them.
Absolutely. The protection is the greatest thing of all. I know Hayley has done a fantastic job with the family last week.
Yes.
Yeah, that brought it to light about, a mother being pregnant, being on the streets for since Christmas time last year, sleeping in a car. So that was delivered very quickly, how they got it home. So, it can be done.
Yes.
If it's done in the right context.
Yes.
Not everybody wants a home. We all understand that.
Yeah.
But there is the things out there. I believe everybody was born with a roof over their head. Right? Some people choose to have a roof over their head if they go the other way.
Yes.
And then that goes into all in imprisonment and all that type of jazz. That's the choice that they've made.
Yeah.
So the roof becomes over their head.
Yeah.
But the genuine ones that are really actually slipping through there, I think to have an outreach, which is absolutely brilliant, but if you lost your house on Friday, then you have to wait. If you're 6 months that you've lost your house on the streets, well, then you get that priority to get your name in done.
Yeah.
Right. So that helps. But the early intervention of people, they don't get looked after straight away.
No. It's very prolonged, and there is systems in place, but as you mentioned, as I'm aware, there is no crisis accommodation. That's something that Hayley brought up during the debate.
There's no emergency stuff. So in a hypothetical, you can have a domestic or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place for that person to go, man or woman.
Yes.
You've got to wait for 6 weeks or 8 weeks before you can get into a refuge, which is packed up all the time. They're overflown. So I reckon that they should be more investing money.
Yes.
There's a lot of non-for-profits here that need this extra money to feed and to clothe the population of Rockingham. 27,000 people in Rockingham.
Yes.
So they need that money. Don't worry about spending it on big, huge signs and this all over the place. Let's invest back into our people so that they can have their goods and services, and that comes through the non-for-profits.
Looking out for the people, that should be their number one priority, isn't it?
It's a top priority.
Yeah.
My priority is. And I know there's other people out there doing the same as me, but we have to have that financial backing of all the non-for-profits and to cater for what's going on. Because
why do you think, no offence to the Labor Party or any party, why not do something? It's so obvious, and it's there on a plate. People like yourself have been putting yourself out there, campaigning. Hayley obviously is aligned with you over the last 4 years just by accident, bumping into each other at the memorial service, striking up a conversation. So she seems to be prepared to listen and to go out there and find out what really is actually going on, what's actually happening. The question is why. It's pretty obvious what's happening, and the media on the news virtually not every day, but every week, they're talking about homelessness situation, not only in Rockingham, but other areas as well. So why it's right in front of their eyes. So why don't they act on it? Why don't they do anything about it? There seems to be they're more focused on different projects. Like they'll find a project that needs doing. And that's commendable and that's great and everything like that. But what about all those people there are suffering?
Well, all those people that are suffering always had the chance to vote. They've all voted in some shape or form, whichever party it is. Yeah. So I believe that the ones that are doing it tough have lost their vote because they've done the right thing in the beginning for whichever government was involved.
Yes.
So I reckon there's a duty of care for the governments involved on that day is to look after these people that already voted them to put them into power.
Well, you would think so.
You would think so, but I can't really answer a few of those questions because it's really tight.
Tough. I understand, and but when it seems as though when you're not being listened to, the frustration comes in, and I sensed prior to you getting involved with Hayley Edwards and her independent party, your involvement with that, I sense that you were pretty much at the end of you've tried and you're trying to yell out and you're trying to communicate with all these different particular members and people and interacting with all different types of people and basically showing them and guiding them and saying this is something that needs to be addressed, and yet they still chose to do nothing about it. I find that astonishing.
Well, I can answer that question, but I don't want to get shot down in flames.
I understand. No, that's fine. But it's just something I feel as though it needs to be put out there. It just seems puzzling. To me, it seems puzzling. I'm an outsider, even though I've been in Rockingham since 1970. I just find it odd. Like if someone's telling you there's an issue there or someone's telling you there's a problem there, why not try and do something about it? You have the resources, not like they don't have the resources or the mining royalties or whatever it may be. There's money available, but why choose not to do anything? I just don't understand that.
That's all called the invisible people. It's called about the invisible problem.
I can only...
and invisible illness can be one thing inside you can see.
If they don't think about it and they don't talk about it, then that situation doesn't exist.
Well, they say it's not an election issue.
It's a community issue.
It's a community issue.
It's definitely a community issue. That's kind of why I name my show Community Matters, because I do care about the community. If I've been boisterous or I say things out in the community, whatever, I say it from my heart. I say it because I'm passionate about the community that I live in. This community has given me so much, so many opportunities to succeed, and I have succeeded in my own way. And yet I see something that is disappointing.
Yeah, well, I've seen you as a young lad as well, and I've seen you mature through the ranks and come through here, and that shows my age. But I've seen many other young people come through and go on to their destinations of their choice, which is a really good thing. And I just want to say to you, happy birthday too today, mate.
It's for yesterday.
Oh, it's for yesterday. I'm a day late.
It's okay. My brother was the same thing. He messaged me. He said, sorry about forgotten to send you a message. So.
Oh, well, I haven't seen you moment, so but that's okay. But the most priority part of all is that we really have to get our community in a balance. At the moment, I see there's not a quite balance in our community, where I come from an area where we done it really tough as kids.
Okay.
I had the pleasure the other day to run into a great school friend that was born in Origin, and we were in the same class, Mr. Clive Morrison. Now, one of the Indigenous guys in Fremantle that's having a book that's coming out of the yarns of
so
being
help promoting
in
some way or form?
Yeah, well, he's been on the mission down south and, as a boy, and we didn't know ourselves. We were trying to go to school and we didn't know what was going on because it was such a huge thing with people.
Yeah.
But as the community is developing better and bigger, there's things that are slipping through the cracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That are slipping through the cracks. There's no platform now where you can go straight sailing. There's things are going down and I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
All as I can do is be nice.
Yes.
Treat people with dignity.
And respect, yes.
And have that respect that follows that dignity. That's all I can do, and just give out something that I think is right. Now, I went broke last year. I spent all my financial stuff that I was going to live on old age, but I ran out last year, and I was glad that ran out because my business ran out as well. So, but all that financial that I did do went out to the people on the streets. Whether they love me or whatever, it didn't worry me. $5 here, $10 there, $20 here, 50, 100. And my own children that fell on hard times of homelessness as well.
Yes.
That I had to pay for their bills. They had to do their moving all their furniture out of one house into my little house and all that hidden expenditure.
Yeah.
So, but out of that, I'm glad to have nothing. But of what I have got, I've got pride.
Yeah.
And
money is just money, isn't it? It's just a object to. It is a good thing, and we can purchase things with it and do good things. I remember when my mum passed and I got an inheritance, and that's gone now. That's gone because I was sharing it. I was I shared a little bit on myself, but I went to Salvation Army a number of times, and I'm just shelling out money. I'm going, here you go, Daryl. Because I know what they do is such a fantastic job.
Well, Daryl and Chelsea are doing a fantastic job. I totally agree. Yeah. This is where the financial part could come in and help them in a huge way.
Yes.
To back up, to feed what's going on.
Because they're there, they're not going anywhere. They've been there for such a long time. Like I was there when they actually, prior to building that new building, there was an old Baptist church that was there. I did go to in my teenage years, and they were there. They've been there for quite some time.
Yeah, and I've still got the old cross from that church as well in my backyard.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, because I used to go there back in 2012, and I'd always wanted to be a Salvation Army soldier, and then I run into a couple of other fellas that had more of a priority, which was homelessness.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd jump on board with them, but I didn't tell them all my story at that particular time. I kept my story very, very close to my heart.
Okay.
Because the one reason, Paul, is that I couldn't read or write. That was really, really difficult for me.
Struggled with that.
Struggled with that all my life, and I could add up. That was strange. The only way I could add up was play darts in the local hotel, I didn't lose.
So you had a different system of
learning, and I thought, well, nobody's going to listen to my story anyway.
Yeah.
They'll think that it's all about me. No. But now it's not about me either. No. At least I can say it in a clear vision, knowing what I'm saying, knowing what I'm doing, and understanding what that piece of pencil and paper means.
Yes. You've also been studying as well. I've seen you posted a couple of things about some of the group of young individuals you've been studying with. So you did touch on that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's absolutely marvellous for me, mate. 56 years since I've been to school.
Yeah.
56 years. That's why I left school, because I couldn't read or write. And I was a really dummy at school. They used to put us in slow learning classes and give us a cane and belt up after school and drag through prickle bushes.
They thought that would be, beneficial to you, and that in some way get you motivated and so on and so forth. Yeah. But obviously that didn't happen. So.
It didn't happen. No. Then I went out into the big world, 12 and a half, 13 years of age, with big men. And if I didn't work, I'd get a flogging.
Yeah.
So I had to work. It was really cruel back in those days. It was for me, because I couldn't understand. I wonder why I was late for work. I wonder why I didn't have dinner during the day, because I didn't have that mindset in there, and I just had to keep working. But I had the opportunity 2.5 months ago. The government put up courses to go back to school.
Is that something that Hayley brought to your attention? Or?
No, I brought it to Hayley's attention.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't have the money to fulfil the whole lot.
Okay.
See? So anyway, Hayley pulled me up one afternoon. She said, "Owie, I'd like to sponsor you." I beg your pardon? She said, "I'd like to sponsor you so that you could go back to school." Oh, well, that was really, really awesome. So once again, Hayley come to my rescue.
Yeah, she's very much a humanitarian.
Oh, she is.
She's a good egg.
Oh, she's a good egg, mate. She's a really, really good egg, and she takes a lot of bullets. And this time 5 years ago, my mother passed away, and
sorry to hear that.
Thank you for that. And some unknown reason, Hayley popped out of the sky.
It's a gift.
As a gift.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was one of the God's angels from Mum to come down and stand beside me.
You needed someone to be there for you, to stand up for you. And also, I think my thinking is that she sees something so special and so good in you.
Thank you.
She knows you've got a good heart. She sees it. She understands it. And that, to me, she is a very compassionate person, a very understanding person, but you get a sense that she actually does care about people. And when she's come across someone like yourself, she's latched onto you in a good way and run with it. And that shows her true character.
It certainly does, because she lost her granddad over 12 months ago as well. So, we had very, very things in common.
Okay.
And the friendship it's nice. It's something that I don't trust too many people.
No. I don't. I sense that.
I've got a really big brick wall against me because I've been shafted quite a few times, and it's not a very nice, comfortable place.
No.
When you are, especially if you've done the right thing.
Yeah.
And then you get told that you haven't done the right thing, but you've done the right thing.
Yeah.
Then it hurts. But when an angel comes down.
Yeah.
And plants in front of you and say, "Look, I'll take your bullet."
Wow.
Here we go. And I don't let too many, I can say, women into my world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
No.
But this, for some reason, I've let young Hayley Edwards.
Yeah, because you sense she's a genuine person. You sense that she is a very good person, and her words, and when she has stepped in there to help you, she's done it from the goodness of her heart, because she knows how important it is to inspire people. I think you've inspired her, and she's inspired you, and you reciprocated. And I think that's a very, very positive. It's a very good friendship. I see that. I've seen that, and I think that's an amazing thing. That can be also infectious as well.
Well, it can. Other people can see.
Yes.
And you can follow along.
Yeah, they can join in.
It's all about love. Just join the group. It's be love. Bring love back into the equation.
I watched a program in the US. Just slightly digress, and it was about communities. And you know how in Australia you have all these fences all around, the asbestos fence, the metal fences, and everything like that. They actually started up communities where they're actually growing their own vegetables, their other bits and pieces. All the kids intermingle, hang out with each other like they used to back in the 1950s and 40s and things like that. And the community was great, and everyone was looking out for each other like an American Indian village and stuff like that. They're like, people that aren't even related, and yet, they're forming bonds, and they're being part of the community, and they're all looking out for each other, and they're also producing fruits and vegetables and things like that. So, yeah, what an amazing world it could be, if we had that. But it seems like everyone wants their privacy, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with it and everything like that, like barriers, fences, and everything like that. But I think the importance of community, and I think the importance of working with a community. We have a lot of volunteer groups, something that Hayley mentioned during the debate. We have a lot of volunteers in Rockingham. Now, why do we have that?
Because we're a kind suburb. We're a kind bunch of people, right, that want to give something back, because a community doesn't run on thin air. It runs on volunteers.
That's right. Yeah.
And everybody has a little part that they want to give. I've had so many people, especially we finished school last week, excuse me, and people that were helping me through Cert 3 and community aged care on the computers and all that type of jazz. They were asking me, Owie, what's all about homelessness? I'd like to do homelessness. So they're putting a course into going doing something else. So through that 25 of us in the room, certain people wanted to take on a volunteer role. So while we were in a classroom doing our Cert 3, they were on the computers putting in for jobs at St Brendan's by the Sea or the Salvation Army or somewhere where they want to put an input in there. And then when we finished after 2.5 months, we all had a little bit of a talk, and they said, you brought value into us. And I said, well, you guys gave me value. Even though that I was sponsored for that, I was sponsored for knowledge.
Yes.
And that knowledge came with that sponsorship. The government sponsored half, the other one was sponsored by the other half. So, that was it was another gift, Paul. It was another gift, Paul, that was the gift of knowledge, because if I didn't have done that, and if I wasn't sponsored, well, then I would have just walked.
You wouldn't have got that opportunity.
No, I would have walked within 3 days, Paul. I would have walked out of there.
You would have lost interest.
It's too hard.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's too hard because I couldn't read and I couldn't do stuff.
I think human nature, technically, not everyone wants to do bad things. Actually, technically, I've run into some individuals in the Secret Harbour area, and they were misbehaving. I think I was on a call with you when that was actually going down. That kid ended up coming out and coming over, and he goes, actually, I'm not a bad kid, really. I said, yeah, well, maybe if that's the case and everything. I said, but you're misbehaving right now. I hoped, that was my thinking. My hope was trying to educate him, or one of his older friends, is basically saying, well, if you're his friend, this guy with the red T-shirt, older kid, if you're his friend, then why aren't you teaching him by example? If you want to misbehave, that's fine and everything, cause a problem, cause an issue or whatever it may be. That's fine. You're free to do that. You can do that. But why would you want to do that? Why not take the approach of trying to do something positive, trying to teach that kid, then misbehaving or getting himself into trouble? That might be great and fine and everything like that, but the reality is it's going to set him on a path of destructiveness. Yeah,
well, that happened to me when I left school very, very young. I was put into a big man's world, and I was wondering why am I getting into trouble? Why am I?
Why is it happening?
Why is it happening to me? Because I was a follower, not a leader. I was a follower, and because I hadn't had my parents around, then the big men, or the older men, older than me, were saying you could do this, but they didn't say that you could get into trouble for it at the same time.
No.
So I went along and I'd done that, and all of a sudden Mr. Plodge come and give me a clap behind the ears, and what's that for?
Yeah. You're being being led by older.
Yeah, so this happens with a lot of the young people of today.
Okay.
They want to mix in, and they want to do something, so they will do something that an older person will say, and the older person already knows the right from wrongs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But in the marks at the school there, I was the oldest fellow in the classroom.
What was their response when they first saw you? What was were they curious? Were they quiet?
No. Well, what we had to do, Paul, was that we had to stand up. Everybody had to stand up and tell a little bit about their story.
I understand.
It's just like me going into a first AA meeting or a narcotics meeting.
Okay.
Stand up, tell a little bit about your story. And because I couldn't do it on the pieces of paper or things like that, but I can get my voice out.
Yes.
And I'll tell the truth. Well, then all the young ones were absolutely gobsmacked, and there's young girls there. I think the youngest one was about 16, I think.
Okay.
Never had any clothes to come to school. Living somewhere, I don't know. So I always had a bootload of clothes in my car.
Yeah.
I said, look, because it was freezing cold and out there,
right.
Take a jacket, take a jumper, and this
whatever you need. Yeah.
Whatever you need. So this young lady dressed herself in the clothes out of the boot of my car. Well, that was it. So that hits nails on the head. That brings people really in together. And then from then on, everybody wanted something, go to Mr. O. Mr. O had something, not all the answers, but had other bits and bobs. And out of that, the friendships are made. They tell a little bit about their story and then you carry on. Okay.
But what it also does is let them know that there's someone out there that actually cares about them.
Somebody who cares.
Yeah.
Somebody who cares. And that's where I get on very well with everybody. And when they knew about my story, those young men would come up and say, "Oh, I got a brother that's doing this. Or I got a brother that's over there somewhere. How would you do it?" So I'd sit outside in the smoko and have a bit of a yarn with them and say, "Well, you don't have to go what your brother does. You can go this other way." It's just like you explaining a little minute ago.
Yes.
And then it's formed once again, Paul. Older people, elders of the community, elders of families, they've got to start bringing a little bit more down the line back to stop being selfish at the top.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems to be that kind of world, isn't it? Like get as much as you can. You pretty much see it in the US. Like everyone's out for their own. Everyone's out to. It's a dog eat dog kind of world. Then you got people who are struggling and renting, and they're having issues with rent increases and dealing with landlords and all that kind of stuff. And so you got that, and then you got the elite where CEOs are getting hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're thinking, why can't they share some of that money around? But no, it's a game. It seems like a monopoly game, and the person with the most amount of money. You're a success, and I understand the US thinking is where with a lot of the athletes as well, even with the Olympic Games, like when they get a gold medal, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, if you get a gold medal, you earn the right to get like $1 million or a nice car or a nice house or whatever it may be. You've achieved something magical or something great and everything like that, but they're like got their hand out. Like, I've achieved this for this country.
Yeah, well,
now where's my $1 million?
Yeah. Well, going back 3 years ago when I was the ambassador and one of the directors of Inspired Radio, which is now IPL Radio.
Yes, that's
which I'm
correct.
very, very fond of Trish and Dad that stuck this long way through, and really make it where it is today.
Yes,
and it's done by volunteers.
Yep.
So we had I think first 12 months or something, and I decided, what can I give to Inspire Radio for everyone? So I thought about it and I said, let's go and get a trophy. So I went and got a trophy for all of us. Everyone got this around their neck with a trophy of Inspire Radio. So that made every volunteer feel really absolutely brilliant that they'd won a medal.
Yes, it's a form of recognition. It's a symbol.
Yes, and we had some people there that were doing it tough, and that sense of pride. So that medallion is must be in all those people's homes.
Just buy that one little item. It inspires people.
Yes,
it lifts people up.
Yes, and Trish got one as well, which I'm very pleased, and so did Dad. But these are the little things that you can give to make big things grow. Those
little tokens, that's right. You can inspire people by, not only conversations or interactions like you had during, or like you are doing with your course and those interactions with the younger people, and for them to hear your stories and your input and all the things that you've done in your life and helping with the community and homelessness and things like that. It does. It inspires people by giving them those good positive messages and those good positive stories. I think is very, very crucial for the community. The community needs that. And people need to know that they're valued.
That's right. And that comes back to, look, Paul, you have done something for me. Instead of me saying to myself, okay, that guy's done something for me, I'm just going to run with this.
Yes.
You must give that back. Humanity. You must give back to the person who's looked after you. You've got to do that. I couldn't say that word, otherwise I'd be whispering.
That's all right. It just popped in my head.
Yeah, that's what Peter Newman does on Curtin FN. Says that word in many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's for me now.
Yes.
If somebody does something for me, I will go out of my way to do something back.
You feel good, don't you?
I feel really, really good.
Yeah.
It's not the shirt that you wear.
No.
It's the person inside that shirt.
It's about integrity, I think.
Absolutely.
I think we've talked about it before. About
we have.
You definitely have integrity.
Thank you, sir.
Something that I do admire, and I not that I'm trying to copy you in any way or form, but I get it. I get why you're doing it, and I get that you actually do get something special out of it. I do believe that. So, and that inspires me just by my conversations with you and my interactions with you. Does inspire me even further to do whatever I can. It may be a little thing, just listening to someone.
Yeah, well, thank you, Paul, for that, because I was at the markets yesterday and some brothers that were doing it tough a little while ago come up and cuddled me and said thank you. And I, with everybody else, and they said if it wasn't for this guy to have time to sit down and talk to us, we would not be in a full-time job. We would not have a roof over our head. We'd be still riding our bicycles around town.
Because you reached down, you could see there was a need. You saw a need, and you used your mind and all the tools that you've been given in your life, and you're basically saying, you come up to not a crossroad, but you come up to a situation where you're going, do I help or do I just ignore?
Well, I don't turn my back.
No.
I do not turn my back, because I was there once myself. I know how hard it was where I was there, and asking and crying and asking for help, and nobody knew what to do it.
Yeah,
they didn't know how to help you.
Yeah,
and then I had the gift of freedom, the gift of knowledge, and then I got free from all my entanglements that made me the person that I was.
Yeah,
but it's bringing what I've been doing in my community. I've helped a lot of people, and the ones that know me know that I've helped them.
Yes.
Right, the ones who don't know me don't know who I've helped.
No.
So it's not a matter of that I'm loyal to just one over here. I'm loyal to all, because it's community.
Yeah, that's all right.
And that's why I say it's not about the shirt. It's the person inside the shirt that brings the love.
Where do you think that came from? Was it just because of your upbringing, or the hard times you've gone through, as you mentioned, or your life struggles, or not being able to read and write, or that kind of thing, or you just you see yourself in those people?
In a lot of ways.
Okay.
In a lot of ways, and the only way that I can really get to something, I used to box, I used to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even at the Royal shows, I used to box up on the tents and stuff like that, and all the country shows, but that didn't get me anywhere.
No.
And I found out, as I'm getting older, the love for people is more valuable than to be a toxic over on the other side.
Nobody wants to hang out with a toxic person, do they?
No. So I find the love that if I can give a little bit of love, well, then I'm okay.
Yeah. You've always been friendly to me, and always come up to me, say good day, and shook my hand and things like that. It doesn't matter where I've been or whatever. Just a smile, or it just made me feel good. And your positive comments to me, saying you're doing all right, son. You're going well, and things like that. It inspires me, motivates me to keep going. So.
And I see you today, Paul. You're interviewing me, and I see we get given some promises.
Yes.
But we've got to work for them.
Yes.
But suddenly all these little promises come together, and all of a sudden I'm here. How did I get here? It's because that you're genuine, right? And I like people that are that remind me when I was a young lad.
Yes. Okay.
They're more touching to me than me sitting in a room with a couple of professors that go blah blah blah, but they're only talking on one particular subject.
Yes.
A person that struggles, they got many subjects to talk about because they're struggling with many.
Absolutely.
And I love sitting there and just, I don't stand over them or down there.
No.
I sit down alongside them and listen to and share our.
Before God, we're all equal, aren't we?
Well, this is what they are telling me, and I'm Buddhism.
Yeah.
So I love Buddhism because it's kind.
Yes.
You know, it's
very gentle, gentle nature. Yeah.
And I love that. So I go to the temple every now and again to get rid of my frustrations.
Understand.
You know, and just go on there like that. So.
Well, I was fortunate. One of the mine sites I worked at, I actually worked with a couple of Thai ladies, and lo and behold, they're Buddhist. And they were so friendly, compassionate. Even one of them, even though I had wife, I had kids, I had a mortgage, she turns around because she didn't have any kids. She did have a partner. She turned around and she pulled out two $50 notes. She says, "That's for your kids."
It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
I was stunned. I'm like, what do I do? Do I give you a hug? Do I, thank you or what? I don't think she didn't really want to thank you. She just knew that there was kids. There was kids, and she just wanted to put a smile on their face. So
something
nice.
By going to the temple, this is another part of me that I don't let too many people know where I go and what I do.
Okay.
Because it's none of their business. But what I have learned by going to the temple, I always go with a big bag of rice or something because we always have a meal afterwards.
Understand.
Right? But it's taught me that I don't go up to Buddha and stand up and say, "Here's a bag of rice." I've got to be on the floor.
Yes.
Because he's higher power. Right? And I struggle on my old arthritis legs and push up this bag of rice and offer it like all the other people are doing, the same thing. Then I shuffle back into and try and cross my legs at the end. So that has shown me that I'm no power over anybody.
No.
Right? So I have no right to stand over you, to stand over my boss, or things like that. So that higher power has told me and it's taught me over many, many years to just be humble. Just be humble, brother. You don't have to stand up to me just by sitting my seat on the seat and going in slowly and then presenting my gift.
It's your approach.
That's exactly what...
a very kind approach. And Buddhism, like I mentioned, working with those Thai ladies, they were so kind. They were so kind to me, not just the money gesture or whatever for my kids, but just the day-to-day interactions and everything like that. They just showed, they basically let me know that they actually did like me. Like they liked my conversations. They liked our interactions, and they showed a lot of kindness towards me and a lot of understanding, and also a lot of help about the job as well.
Oh yes. It was really good because when I went to Thailand, I went to a temple. Yeah. Miles and miles and miles up in some mountain. I never had no idea where I was going, but I was there 3 days, lying and sleeping with everybody in the temple.
Yes.
Wearing a dress. Oh my God, me wearing a dress, but it was really, really platonic for me. It was really nice, I enjoyed that. So I bring a lot of that stuff in to me now.
Yes.
That brings the wiseness in, brings the passion, brings in the respect. And the last of all, Paul, is honesty.
Yes.
Bring the honesty in. Wrap them 4 figures together. What do you got? You got a cross.
You got a cross, that's right.
So it's bringing it all into me, and I've learned a lot over a long period of time. That's I understand what is actually going on and what's inside my own little planet up here. So I just carry that through, and I do the best I can with what I've been given. And I share the love.
I think it's really good. I wasn't aware that you're actually Buddhist, but now it kind of makes sense because you seem very calm. I think that's probably what it does for you. It brings about clarity and also calmness and also that mental strength as well. So I think you have a grasp on what is good for you and also what is actually good for the community. You're basically using yourself to put yourself out there to help the community because you see a need.
I see a need, and I know when I first started with IPR radio, my position was to go out there and help get finance into Inspire Radio.
Yeah.
And
bring about awareness as well.
Absolutely. But for me to go out and ask for financial support of big companies, which we didn't go astray, we did okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we did okay.
Okay.
But it was very hard for me to go and see a big company and ask for donations.
Yes.
Because I'm a giver. I give.
Yeah.
So that was my thing to make me...
It was kind of going against
my own principles.
Yes.
So, but it made me strong. I had quite a good development in that area. It did come to fruition.
Yeah.
They did come into the studio.
Well, it gave you some experience as well, something you were totally unfamiliar with. So, good experience, but also good exposure for yourself, but also IPL radio as well, and all your causes.
IPL radio, I'm very passionate about it. Trish and myself, we go back a long way, 20 odd years. Yep. We've known each other, and things like that. So I'm really privileged to be here.
Yeah.
To be with you today, Paul, because
I appreciate that.
There's things that have developed, and all I want to see IPL radio to really go through the roof.
Yeah, I find that as well. I find that all the different places I go to, and just the interactions that I've had with all the different groups. Wise Employment, that was one. Lifeline, when we went to Lakeland Shopping Centre, there was a whole bunch of volunteer groups, and I got the opportunity to interact with as many as I could, and just listening to them, and they came up and we did some interviewing and things like that. So all these different groups, out there into the community and stuff like that. So they're also passionate. So there's more of us out there. There's more passionate people out there. There's more caring people out there. And I think a lot of these organisations actually popped up out of necessity.
Yeah, well, everybody brings the gift of knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
And through that, you can get things up off the ground. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I've been amongst it. I've helped create a lot of people who wanted to get non-for-profits. I've helped to create that.
Yeah.
I've helped to create places where people can come and have a shower and have something to eat. I've helped to do that.
That's true. You actually invited me to the Scouts College through St. Brenda's Church. You did invite me, so come on down. And that was the first opportunity I got to meet Hayley. You introduced me and, had a little bit of a conversation. Obviously, there was a lot of other people in their area and everything, and they wanted to talk to her as well and share their stories and stuff like that. So it was a good thing. It was a good thing they actually did. And then inviting me down there, I actually felt welcome. I felt like part of your family, and that's a pretty amazing thing.
And I love doing that, Paul.
Yeah.
I love bringing people into places that I know.
Yeah.
I'm not popular all the time, but 9 times out of 10 I am. But I like to bring people in, and that gives them a brand new start.
Yes.
Because we're all not invisible.
No.
We all want a little bit of a go somewhere here and there. And I just happen to be in that particular area where that I can do that.
Yes.
I bring people in so that then they're not left on their own. Then they can form a relationship, and then the world's their oyster. That's what I like to do, because I know as a child, I was one of those childs that you've seen and not heard. That's it. You played up, boom, out you go, locked up in the car, or you're locked up in your bedroom, and that was horrible because you entombed for something you didn't know what were you entombed for.
Yeah, you really need an explanation. I think when my father, which my father pretty well, he very, very few times he would punish me. I had to do something really, really serious, like one particular situation where I was younger and I swore in front of a family friend who was there visiting. He would have let it go. Otherwise, it's just the fact is I actually disrespected him by saying it in front of a family that actually welcomed us. One of the families when we first came to Rockingham, they welcomed us with open arms, and we would get invitations to Christmas time and all that, and sleepovers and things like that, and very much, welcome us into their family and the interactions we had in the many different locations. And getting back to the punishment side of it, my father, I think only twice he actually stepped in there and on the backside and everything like that. And then he turned around after all that happened, I'm crying, he's like crying, and he comes back and he goes, do you think I really want to do this? Do you think I really want to punish you? He says, you gave me no choice. He says, the line is there. You crossed the line. I have to let you know that what you did, whether, you thought it was, should have let it go or not. He basically said, well, there's the line. Now you know where the line is. If you cross it, if you disrespect me in front of whatever, I do something very, very serious, there is consequences. So not very often that my father actually, I think it was only a couple of times that he laid down some punishment. So and I had to talk to him one day, and both my parents, I went out to dinner. I was with a girlfriend just down in Bunbury. And I said, how come I can only remember, you punishing me? He says, well, tell you what, he says, your mother used to hit you because I didn't like to go to school. This was like when I was like 5. He says, your mother used to hit you every day on the backside because you didn't want to go to school. And I said, how come I can't remember it? And he says, because she did it so often.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
I only remember my father doing it. I don't understand that one.
Because the old mind gets blocked out of things. Yeah. But all through my stuff, I'm glad what had actually happened. Yeah. All the way through. Yeah. I'm glad what
learning experience.
Absolutely. I wouldn't change my life for the world. It just gets better. And through all that torment and all that punishment and all that, whatever comes through.
Yes.
That was how it went. I accept that that's how it went.
Yeah.
So looking back, like Slim Dusty said, looking forward, looking back. It's a long, long road.
Yeah, right? You can't do the smacking of the back. You cannot do that anymore.
No.
Teachers are not allowed to. Because I know my in Hillman, my primary school teachers, they punished us more than our parents. I can't go into too much detail about that, but at the time that was the form of punishment.
Yeah.
If you misbehaved, I'm talking serious stuff like caught fighting or disrespecting someone or whatever it may be. It was a big deal to them, and they needed to let you know that what you're doing is not right. But you can't do that nowadays. There's
no, the authorities gone.
The authorities, it's it's.
But I wouldn't change my life for quids, because it's been a long journey, but it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Another 11 years, I'll be 80.
Wow.
I'll be an old 80-year-old. My God, man.
I thought you were much younger. I thought you were in your 60s.
Oh, I have a good spirit, brother.
Okay.
I love you too.
Okay.
But out of all that, I'm here today because there's generous people that have offered me to come in and speak about what is going on and the past and maybe the future and what's actually happened in the present. So it's a matter of me learning a lot more and going to school for those 2 months has opened up another world for me. And I had a dream the other night, and I had a chain around my neck, and there was a lock on it. And somewhere in that dream, that lock went bing. It opened up. And I couldn't work out what that dream had meant. So a couple of days ago, I was talking to some colleague of mine, and I said, I was set free of something.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still trying to work out what I'm set free from, right? So that was mean that I was enchained for a long time, and that lock
that was holding you back.
Something that was holding me back, and that's scared. Like I was a little boy, you don't go there because you might get punished for it. So out of that there, and I'll work it out by the time another week or another month goes by. I'll work out what that dream meant, but I virtually know that was unbreaking the shackles from me, and starting a new journey.
Something new that's happened in your life has opened something up.
It's opened something up. And I never had a dream like that ever in my life. I dream a lot, but I never had a dream like that.
Yeah, you broke down a barrier of some form just by
stepping out on my own again and doing what I think is right for Owen, not other people.
No.
And standing up for myself. I suppose I've been in bondage for a long time. Right? I've been I'll follow you, I'll follow you, I'll follow you. Then that chain went, bingo, no, you don't do that. Stand up and say no, Owen. Don't keep saying yes. Say no, this is not you.
You definitely have a kind heart. When people reach out to you, you have compassion, you have feelings, and
thank you.
And and you want to help. It seems like it's in your nature to want to help. You've been through your own trials and tribulations and everything like that, and you have empathy, you have compassion and understanding. So you're like, what do I do? Do I just sit back and do nothing, or do I step in there and do the superhero thing? So
you just asked a question: are you okay?
Yeah,
simple. I had a young lady the other day here, and I wasn't satisfied with my first reaction.
Yes.
When I asked. So I went back again and asked again, are you okay, my young lady? Right? She was crying.
What was the answer that she gave?
She said, I'm okay. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, sometimes that means I'm okay, meaning I'm not, but I don't want to burden you.
That's right. So, but I had to go back again because she was sitting down crying, and I don't like women crying. That really doesn't turn me on. No. Right, because I see my daughter and what happened to her when she was young, and it was horrible. And so just for me, I had to go back.
Yeah, you needed to know why.
Yeah, and if
why is she crying?
Why, she didn't ask me. But if you needed money, I would have given her money. If you needed food, I would have went and got her food.
Yeah, you just wanted to ease her suffering.
I just wanted to ease suffering because it's not nice to see young people.
Yeah, people don't cry for no reason. They may watch a movie and get all emotional about what's happening in the movie and everything like that, but there was no movie playing. It's real life.
I got to stop and whoever it is, I don't care.
Yeah.
But the moral of a lot of things is that when we're genuine people. A lot of people don't like genuine people. There's this thing that scares them because maybe they can see a little bit in themselves but don't want to expose themselves, But I think hopefully everything goes well, and I just appreciate Trish and you, Paul, for having me on your show today. It's another blessing. It's another thing open. I know everybody's busy, and I just want to say to Trish and Paul, which I call Dad.
Yes.
That I wish them very much success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming around the corner, there's a gift coming for Inspire Radio, IPL, sorry. There's a gift coming around the corner. We just have a little bit of patience. And thank you, Paul, for interviewing me today. It means a lot.
It's my pleasure, Owen. I know, I can see just the words that come out of your mouth, and I know you're doing it for a good reason. I know you're like I mentioned before, you're a very compassionate person. You're a very caring person, and it seems like you weep with everybody else, and having that empathy and everything like that, it just shows what a human being that you actually are, and you're my inspiration. So I appreciate your time today, coming in and being on my show. I got nothing but good things to say.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that too.
We're just about to wrap up now, and thank you for coming in. And I appreciate your time, and we'll continue that journey together.
Thank you.